Whew, okay. I apologize if that was too quiet and nobody could hear anything. Messing with the Spotify. Still, happy Tuesday, everybody. Oof. Getting the hiccups. Not boding well. Also, while we were offline, Harmony Bells found the channel. Thank you, Harmony, for the follow. We know Harmony. They are a staple in the WizU community. So, thank you very much for the follow, Harmony. If you find this later on YouTube. Oh, goodness gracious. We're going to dive right in because, I mean, we're just in a mood. We are in a mood where today we moved all of these flowers over here and a few down on the campsite. This is 2 of each kind of flower in the game. Just because I needed to. Okay, I need to water this while we kind of warm up and we figure ish out here. Let's just water this and then we're gonna go sell. And then we're not playing Happy Home Designer tonight. I know, crazy. What is even happening? We're designing Tia's Speakeasy here on our island because it is a long-standing project that I have had in the works that just needs to get done. Okay. Okay. We have to make Tia's Speakeasy. Well, like, that's what we're doing tonight. So we're gonna kick back. We're gonna just make Tia's Speakeasy. The problem is, I'm still going through a lot of the new update, and the new update, because Nintendo, at least with Animal Crossing, and specifically with this update, is actually really good at listening to their users and observing what their users need. And what they saw us needing was a lot of restaurant stuff because we want to build restaurants on our islands. And so they're like, here in the DLC, we'll have you build a couple restaurants, but also we're gonna give you a bunch of restaurant stuff. So I don't know, we got a lot of really good restaurant stuff. So I'm gonna water these crops. We're gonna sell a few of the crops. I keep 1 stack of 10 from each harvest, and we'll see how quickly our storage fills up with that ish. But I want to keep that as a standard, just to, at least for a little bit. It is a windy day on the island. Do you see this wind? Oh my goodness gracious! I appreciate the changes in weather in this game a lot of the time as I'm watering nothing. Excuse you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Rude. I still have not done a group stretching thing. Still have not. Oh no, we got a lot of mushrooms back up. Oh, Isabel's gonna be like, you've got too much stuff on your island. Are we a 3-star right now? Most definitely not. Mostly because, oh, is that samurai armor? Okay. First we have to go sell. I'm sorry. I can't. I got my ABD. Okay, so here's the thing, y'all. Finally with the, okay. So in order to get Brewster, you have to have a 3-star island. That we know. Also, in order to get the ABD and the storage shed thing, you have to have put money into at least 1 storage upgrade. That is at least what I have discovered this week with my personal game save, because I only had like the 1 last thing to pay off, and then I had to get this storage increase. What is that? Why is that the thing that Padme had the twins on in the sequel or the prequels? What is happening? What is that table in the background? What is that? It's either out of Star Wars or it's out of Halo. I can't decide which. It's fine. Not selling the wood. We actually need the wood. Okay. My crops are selling for so much more than my fruit tree stuff right now. People are loving vegetables right now. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Also, I did have almost 30,000 miles, and then I bought the ABD in the storage shed, so. Strategic meeting table. So this is a war room table. Oh. How much is it? Okay. What are we talking? What? $150,000? You said? I swallowed that wrong. I really hope that comes back around because we cannot afford that right now. Alright, they have a bucket and that's all. Okay, cool. Okay, in yen, okay, if that's 150,000 yen, then that's still $15,000. That's still $15,000 for a not even touchscreen tabletop. $15,000 for a not even touchscreen table, like, display? I don't think so. I do not think so. Nook twins. Tanuki boys. I think not. I think not. We'll be honest. Robe. Kill Bill suit! Kill Bill suit! Kill Bill suit. Can we get it in yellow? Can we get it in yellow? Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, the samurai shirt has been around for a bit, but like, ooh, it's a look though. With the witch hat, it is a look. Like, let's be honest. Ooh. The long chinos shirt gives me 1990s, like, very much in a weird Christian cult, can't wear pants because my husband says no vibes. I'm sorry. We're not about that life. No. Mm-mm. No. No. I kind of like the jumper though. Oh, like why is the jumper the thing that gives us the best butt in this game? Like, what does the yellow do? Ooh, okay, the yellow's now giving me kind of minion vibes with the black jumper. Okay, we'll throw. No, we're not gonna wear what we picked out. Listen, we have stuff to do. I appreciate you, Mabel, but we have stuff to do. It's cute, but we're moving on. Okay, thank you, Mabel, as usual, just for being you. Okay, tonight, listen, tonight we are building a speakeasy for a elephant that looks like a teapot. I'm not mincing words. This is the hook, okay? That's it, that's all. Roll intro. Like, but real though. So we're gonna direct y'all over here. You run past everybody. Here we go. Here we go. Down here. Yes, I know I'm not on the right date tonight. Don't come for me. We terraformed all this because I'm testing these cliff sides as a path, so we're not filling everything in so we don't have to. Hamlet! He's got the zoomies, my god. No. No, camera. This camera, y'all, listen. Okay, we have, as you can tell from my map, let's just pull up my map real quick because it's a mess. We've got mostly everything done. We're only gonna have the one villager on the beach, and that's Dobie. But I made him a little fishing village. I might shift him over so I have like more room to make him like a nice little spot. He'll have pretty much his run of that whole little L shape there below that cute little rock there. And then all the way over to that river mouth. That whole area, that's just going to be for Dobie. And he's going to have a little fish market there. He's going to have a whole yard. He's going to have a whole place where he can fish and just be his old man self while he tries to solve whatever crime he's trying to solve on his bulletin board, which we love. Otherwise, we have moved Tia here because we are building this girl her speakeasy. I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna talk real quick. Tia hit me up and she was like, listen, Brewster's moved in and I've had this idea for a long time and I was too scared to say anything about it, but I want a speakeasy. I want a speakeasy. And like, we're gonna have tea and coffee and be sophisticated, but I want a liquor license. So like, can you maybe talk to Tom Nook and like get us a liquor license so that we can like maybe have a little bit of a bar on the island? I'm like, okay girl, I got you. And like, I've been puzzling it over, and like, because you know I have to figure out all the design stuff. She's just like, I just want to speakeasy. She throws a concept at me and then I have to figure it out from there. Whatever. I've been mulling it over and I think I've got it. So here we're in front of Tia's house. She's here. She's kind of trapped here because we haven't built our ramp. Okay, hang on. She's here. This is Tia's house. She's here. She's trapped here because we haven't built her a ramp yet. We haven't even installed like a ladder. We'll get her a ladder soon. Don't you worry. She's wandering around. She's looking for shit to water. Whatever. So we've got this. We're gonna put a ramp here. And then we're gonna go up, and then this is what we have to work with. This whole area. I need to move the storage shed. I moved the storage shed here preemptively, I will admit. We might have to edit. Oh, and this. Okay, we're gonna have to edit. Okay, hang on. We're gonna edit this cliff real quick just to like make it make sense. Okay. Hang on. We're gonna put our storage shed and our DIY station up here. And our DIY station. Here we go. It's good. I'm gonna grab some, okay, so here's the thing. I think I want the hedges. I'm gonna do hedges for the upper part of the speakeasy, like that's fine, but then we need some real sophisticated, like I think we need this kind of fencing for the lower part. So just real quick, and of course we're gonna craft more, don't even worry. So we're gonna pick these up. We'll worry about her front yard later, but for right now I want to get her backyard, her speakeasy. Look at this cliff. Look at this. Look at this shit. Is she like a cottagecore bitch? What's happening with these cliff? Oh my god. She's not. She's pirate core, but she's working it, okay? Don't even worry about it. It's fine. Okay. I'm gonna throw down a couple. I'm gonna throw down a couple of these just so y'all can see, and also so I can remember what the fuck I'm doing. It's good. It's fine. Yes, we're building a fence. Okay, so we're gonna give her like the basic ass like this one, you know, this one that everybody does. Just to like, oh look, you've got a front yard. Lucky you. Thing here. Look at Octavian. What is Octavian doing? Is he chasing a leaf? He's playing the Zoomy game in our Grand Canyon channel over here. Look at him. That is a cranky villager, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Oh my god. So can't handle it when the game throws stuff like that at me. So like I'm thinking like this, like a very respectable front yard, and then the backyard is anything but. Like we are going full like what you wish you could have thrown for those high school backyard parties, you know, where you know what I mean, like the stupid thing that every single Disney Channel thing has, like what you know that character wished they had actually done. Like no, that's what we're doing in the backyard. Like it's gonna be fucking sophisticated. Like that's what we're after back here, you know? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so while we have the construction permit out, let's go to Tom Nook and get a ramp done. So we can have a ramp done here. We're just gonna have it right next to the house. We'll build the front yard around it. It'll look really cute. It'll be like, oh, patio. But the patio's fucking poppin'. Because it's a speakeasy and it looks great. You know? It looks like a bar that shouldn't be there, you know? It's gonna be great. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm time traveling scum, so literally none of this information in your lower left pertains to anything. Haha. Don't come for me. Except maybe come for me, I don't care. Come for me, see what happens. Infrastructure. Bridges and inclines. Okay. Incline. Okay. Shoot. What do I do here? The logs are cute. The logs are very cute. This feels more right. Is it expensive as hell? Yes, it is. But I've never liked this steel, other than the red steel, which I did once for Octavian. Octavian's looks great. Don't regret that. But everybody else's, I'm like, eh. I also don't like the natural, so. We're gonna do stone. I think we're gonna do stone for this. Please. Okay. Okay, let's pull some money out of our ABD. Slash. Oops, I didn't do that yesterday. Oh well. We're still looking for when our... nope. When our castle walls pop up. I still haven't had it. It'll pop up. Let's see here. Castle walls? No. Nope, that's it. Alright. Good night, Irene. There it is. Okay. We're gonna pull 50K out of this. that's all I have. I paid off my last loan and then started working, and then I got my first storage upgrade. Now I'm working towards the second, which is 70K. Like, how much are these storage things gonna be? Thank God it only takes $10,000 to move a resident now, because what am I gonna do otherwise? Like, the previous 50 would have broke me. I need to get on the stock market like immediately, y'all. Like, that's where we're at in Animal Crossing. Me considering day trading. That's where we're at. Like, let's be honest. The rest of this cliff. Oh, Hamlet. Excuse me. The rest of that cliff, I will get sorted later. I eat out today. Hi, Tia. Hi, Tia's like overseeing construction. She's very hands-on. She's like making sure everything's going okay. She trusts me, but like, let me imagine it. She trusts me, but like, she wants to make sure I'm doing it right, you know? If I can get it closer to your house, girl, we're gonna get it closer to your house, because I know we'll extend this front yard a little, but I know what matters is the backyard. We know that, we know that's what matters. So that's what we focus in on. Rethink. Come on now. Come on now. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh shoot, will it not let me do it within a certain amount of blocks of... Tia. Shoot. Well, that's not what I meant to do, but we're gonna do that. Okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It moved that money tree, didn't it? Shit. Shit. That's what happened there. Okay. So this area is what we have to work with for a speakeasy. This is a very large area. Like, even y'all who are doubting me, this is a very large area to work with. Let's pull up the DIY for some hedges, because we're going to lay out the hedges, I think, first. We're going to lay out the hedges first, because I feel like that's what's... I don't know. I'm still debating so much on what to do with the backyard, or like the back of this. Like, I don't know. What do we do? This, okay, weeds, tree branch, and stone. Good lord. Good lord. Get something out. Hi, Sean. What is up? I am overthinking my speakeasy for an elephant who is shaped like a teapot. It's fine. This is normal. How's your Tuesday? Okay. We're crafting because we don't know what else to fuck. How was your Tuesday, Sean? I'm gonna eat pretzels and devolve into a mess. Me overthink? I know. I know. It never happens. Oh my god. Long day, but good. Love it. It's always good when it's like a really long day, but you're like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna live. What am I getting points for? The plus thing where they're like, you crafted some shit. Yay, okay, good. Ain't that always the way? Wasilla. Oh my god. I have zero patience for Wasilla. I have a lot of family out there, so like I apologize. I highly doubt any of my family is watching. I fully recognize that I live in Eagle River. Like this is what I'm up against here. Like y'all trying to be a small, trying to be a big city and a small town at the same time. Good fucking luck. I don't know. Maybe they are gonna have more luck because you know they can get away with riding ATVs around. Meanwhile, Eagle River can fucking not. I'm sorry you got your ass kicked. You talked to Zilia. You talked to Zilia. Are you getting a dog? I need to know, Sean. Are you getting a dog? I need to know. I need to know because as soon as that dog is over, like D&D nights are over. Like there's no D&D. There is just puppy. Chokes on pretzel. Puppy snuggles. I'm sorry, but puppy snuggles? Excuse you. Excuse you. I love D&D, but D&D nights are over because puppy snuggles. Like, she was busy. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I know that's never a good feeling. She's a busy woman. She does her shit. And tomorrow. Okay. Okay. I am praying for puppy very selfishly because I need puppy snuggles. I love Gus. Gus is my grandmother's dog. He's very cute. He's very sweet. ISK. Long haul. All long haul. Long game. Hashtag long game. Thank you for lurking, SK. Appreciate you. Hope everything was great for you today. Thank you for the lurk. We're doing super normal stuff. Building a speakeasy for an elephant shaped like a teapot. This is normal hot girl shit. Don't worry about it. It's good. Luckily, I had a lot more sleep last night, so I'm feeling a little more awake. Just gonna I want to build something really cute, you know? I don't know. It's hard because I want... Oh, shoot. You don't have to say, because I know I'm the fucking worst. Nope. Boy, listen.
Hashtag left turn red.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for the bits, but you gotta be salty about it at the same time. Is this how this is gonna go? Boy. You know I love you, and things have just been chaotic as fuck, okay? If I could have corrupted you with Animal Crossing, you know I would have done it earlier. No. Wait. Over here being all dramatic. What is he doing? Bitch on. Don't be like that. Be that bitch. I am your friend, bitch. What are you talking about? Wait, and am I... Wait, I thought I best friended you first. What? We are best friends. What? What are you talking about? Are you talking digitally or are you talking about like actual real life? What are you talking about? I am here for you. Boy. Are you being... I keep looking at this being like, why hasn't he accepted my best friend request? Yeah, I see. Oh shit, I'm the worst. I forgot this is what I had to do. SK and Clax, you know I love you, right? I'm just a dumbass and forgot that I had to do this. Kid Kazma Lyric, hope you're doing well. I'll be working on homework. Well, good luck on your homework, Kid Kazma. I'm just gonna... Good God, man. This man is withholding currency just to be my in-game best friend. You see this man? Do you see this man holding money over me? Toxic. What is this? I love you. Tia's lurking. Like, what are you doing up there? Like, don't worry about it. Shit, girl. Okay, I love you. It's just I'm a dumbass. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. That's gonna be the best reel. That's just gonna be the best reel. Like, don't even worry about it. Everybody else go home. Like, we have the best reels. Don't even worry about it. I don't know. I'm trying to get my social media strategy figured out, but mostly I'm just nervous. So, like, it's fine. She talks a big game, but then at the end of the day, she chickens out and she terraforms her island instead. Okay, Speakeasy. Hey. Can't really put anything up. We're gonna... There we go. Looking okay. Is... Alrighty. We're gonna put away some stuff. Let's put some stuff away. The storage shed. Look at this. Do you see this? Just gonna put some shit away. Look at that. Put away. Okay. We're gonna get something out. We're gonna get a few things out. We're gonna get a few things out until our pockets are full. So we're going Speakeasy vibes. How's the flower rearranging going? We did it. They're all moved, and now we're building a speakeasy for a teapot-shaped elephant. I don't know. Chugs shame water. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay. The Nordic chair. I need to customize this. I think I can customize this. I need not yellow flowers. Listen, if you love yellow flowers, that's all you. I love that. I love that for you. It's not my vibe. It's not the vibe for a speakeasy. So I now have to find my customization kits somewhere. Where are they? In this mountain of boba. Where are my customization kits? Did I use all of them? I may have used all of my customization kits. Oh no. Alright, well. Yep, okay, those are gone now. I did the thing. I moved the superfluous digital thing that maybe needed to be moved. Chances are probably not. I now have no anything to get down. But I did the thing. What is Octavian doing? Do you see this? Do you see this cranky man? This cranky man was running around. He had the zoomies. Like, he was just running up and down this little channel I made earlier. And now he is just sitting underneath some bamboo with a lollipop. Do you see this cranky old man? Do you see him? He's embarrassed. I kept drawing attention to him. I'm sorry. I love you too. There's Hamlet just doing his thing, of course. Love you too, Sean. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Super appreciate you. It's revealing to me that I'm just a dumbass and was like, why aren't they approving me? Oh wait, no, that's me. I have to approve that shit. Goddamn. Oh, have a good night, Sean. Get some good rest. I'm gonna wait. Okay, no, we already did this because this has the Halo table. Fine. I'm good with it. Nook Twins. I need gonna buy a few stacks of these because this is always the way this goes. I just need like 80 of these. By the way, if you didn't know, what you don't know is a lot. You can now store in your house storage DIYs with the update. You can now store DIYs in your house storage. Why was that never a thing? I'm so confused as to why DIYs being stored in your house storage was never a thing. Yes, it takes up a whole slot, but so do critters and tools. So like, what the fuck, Nintendo? I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm having troubles understanding. Someone explain. Why couldn't I ever do that? Oh God. Did not realize that there was 2 tracks of music going at the same time. That must have been unfucking bearable. And I applaud all of you for just sitting through that without letting me know or just like mentioning it, because that, I'm sorry, that would have made me absolutely fucking crazy. So like, y'all have more patience than me. I'd have been like, get the 2 audio streams the fuck off. Y'all are great. Oh. Okay. Whoop. Let's see if we can customize this. We should. Oh, really? Really? Only from this angle? Great. Cool. Great. Customize. What is happening? Nordic chair. Oh, you know it. Oh, so much. Like the little flowers are cute. But like even the green. The green? Are you kidding me? The monochrome dots. I'm sorry. Leaves are cute. The triangles, okay. And we, of course, we can do any matter. They're freaking adorable. Do I have anything Art Deco in here? No, I not. Custom design. The custom designs for these, I'm gonna have to go and search because the chairs for this place are gonna have to fucking pop off. Memento Mori is a vibe. It's a whole ass vibe, but like we're gonna have to go in. Oh my gosh. And here's me like with the custom design, like with the custom design plus and like almost everything full. Of course she is. The skulls are a vibe. The skulls are a whole vibe, but it's gonna be a hot minute before this is ready. I'm gonna have to take a minute. We're gonna have to do like something in the interim. Something in the interim. Oh, you know what? In the interim, like the thing that it actually comes with, because then we don't have to spend any money. Okay, we're gonna order some chairs. We're gonna order some chairs. Put away. Put some shit away. Okay. All right, we'll start with this back corner. This back corner is where I'm predicting, and I'm saying that that's where the counter, like the bar counter, is gonna go. So we're gonna put some stuff back there, except I don't think I have anything ordered. Oh shoot. Okay, any of these are gonna be fire, because if I remember, these are from when the old neighborhood was built. Like those are gonna be great. Shoot. I have a feeling we're gonna need both of these. And we'll throw those out just so I know what's happening. I don't get them. Shoot. Oh, and there's this. Oh god. And then I've got all this cute shit. Oh, and that's from Steph. Like that has to. Kid Chasma. Regimed Hydrate. Much. Appreciate you. Okay. Okay. Oh gosh. I'm gonna have to order. So I don't know why I didn't order more before I got online and like decided that this is what we were gonna do. Okay, these simple panels, these are gonna be tricky. Next item. Almost, maybe. Put that away. And the idea is that we can just, you see that? That's Marina's yard. That in the background is Marina's yard, and it's beautiful. And I want everybody who has the ability to get a view of her yard can get, like, because this is like, that is such a, we can only view it like that. Like, that's such a beautiful view. That is such a beautiful view. There's gonna be more here, but you know, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so beautiful. I am here for it. What is this one? Oh no, that's alright. That's alright. That's alright. See? Remember what that was for. I'm gonna have to recustomize so many things. Great. Okay. Oof. Okay, we have some stuff to customize, and that's gonna be fine. No room for reals? That's confusing. Okay, yeah, see, that's what there. Hey, hey, that's adorable, right? Oh boy. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna customize the simple panels that I have in my pockets right now because, oh boy. Nordic chair, the simple panels. The simple panels. Yep. Need materials. Oh, I put everything into storage. Let's go ahead, it's fine. Whoops. Okay, let's find the customization kits. There they are. Nope. Okay. The potion shelf is super cute, but we're gonna do at least one more of these. We're gonna do at least one more of these. Customize another one. Let's do this one. Oh, actually, I think I like that one. Okay, let's throw that down. Oh. Got something out of that. Oh, cool. At this point, we'll take it because I need like a couple of those EBDs about the island along the storage sheds. Oh boy. Okay, I gotta find in the oh god. Gotta find these counters that are in the new update that are adorable. Okay. Order so many of those. Okay, we're gonna take this slow. And like if we can't do everything tonight, instead of time traveling. Oh, and I got the rust one. Excuse you. Whole vibe. Excuse you. Okay. The counter. Hmm. Better, but not quite. I need to take a lot of this to Harbs, and I fully realize that. Today's variance is 5 variance. Where are the more? Yeah, we'll get more of those. I can't remember what that particular counter is called from Happy Home Designer, and for whatever reason, I have not unlocked it. That's very pretty. Okay, the ranch thing, I did buy that. Shoot. I mean, I'll check my beaches and I'll check the Happy Home Paradise beaches for this ish. Shoot. I thought I had the things I needed. I really did. I'm gonna be so mad. Nope. Okay. We're gonna do Run of the Beaches. I know I should have done this earlier. Who the fuck cares? I'm just gonna do it now. At least my beaches aren't covered in flowers anymore, right? Yikes. We're looking. Yikes. More yikes. Look at Dobie with all this space. We can give him so much more space. It's gonna be great. He's gonna be so excited because he's just gonna get so much more space. He had like that other house like ramming up on him, being super invasive, and now he's just gonna have so much more space. So much more space. Look at him chasing that leaf because he's so excited. Excuse you, Eric. Nope. Okay. Excuse you again, Eric. Oh, I didn't look at the right spot. Good. Fine. It's normal, in fact. Look for a beach DIY. Label, I love you, girl. You know I love you, but like we're not doing your quest thing today. We're barely even gonna build a bridge over here, which is ooh. I get distracted. Here we fucking. Does it have anything good? Want it to have something good. Give me good news. The opposite of good news. Just I'm being salty over nothing. I'm just gonna grab all of this. Oh God. Here it is. Amy. More fossil. 3 more? I think there's another one over there. Yep, that's it. 2 more. Whoops. I might have already picked up my beach DIY and I just don't remember. I was doing it earlier without even thinking while like watching something. Oh, no, there it is. I thought I hadn't for today. Okay. Here, learn. This is not anything I need, but at least it's something new. Heyo. Alright, let's go really quick to the DLC because they have new stuff on the beaches in every morning. So at the very least we can check. And no, I have not checked any of my villagers' houses. So we shall have to see if there is any worth grabbing anywhere. Here's the, yeah, that's the problem. I need the hardcore grind for Happy Home Designer. I feel like I'm already doing like super stellar, but I'm not. Wait, what just happened? Oh, I was just wearing, oh, I had to shut down. Okay. The island designer stuff, which was just on. Whatever. Whatever. As soon as I can. Who do we have? That's Tybalt. We've got Ken. Oh God, that mouse has a name. Oh, Rhonda, excuse you. And then one of the dogs, and I don't. Oh wait, there's people inside the cafes. I need to remember there's people inside these things as well, not just on the beaches. Oh God, let's see who else. Oh, thank you, Lily. Oh my gosh, is that Bianca? Bianca is here. We have Petrie here, just enjoying a sandwich and a cup of tea. Look at her. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. That's cute. That's really cute. I'll see you next time. Oh, Bianca, though. Okay. I have to get the other restaurant built, and I think that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Rhonda could be interesting. Let's, okay. Beaches, 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 beaches. Checking beaches for DIYs. Hey. DIY, DIY. Whoa! Hello, hello. Oh, there it is. Just out of reach. Get anything? The thing we don't have. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Let's go check the shop. That's gonna have something we don't have in. Ooh, we got some bells to burn. Not bells. Pokey. We got some pokey to burn. Oh shoot. I mean, the claw machine thing? The claw machine thing is kind of cute, but also big eggs. Oh no. Okay, not me missing the bio break. Not me missing the bio break. Okay, so here's the thing. On the channel, we have a couple of very easy rules. One is, of course, be kind, and two, when the bio breaks happen, we all take them together. So this is your cue to get up, go get some more water, like I need to do, go get yourself a snack, go use the bathroom, go get your wiggles out, do what you need to do. But we're gonna come back in 5. We're gonna come back in 5 minutes, and we're gonna keep going. But in the meantime, go do what you need to do. Stretch, water, pee, snacks, whatever it is. See you back here in 5. Ooh. Well, we back. And I don't know if we can make Tia Speakeasy because I'm missing so much. Okay, we can order some stuff for tomorrow night though. So that's what I'm thinking. Can we I don't in my pockets. Okay. We're gonna grab that. And then oh, Wardell. Wait, special order? That's so sweet. Wait. Wait. That was adorable. Okay, I'm really sorry, Lottie, but we're off today and we're doing a very special project, so I'm not coming in today. I'm sick. Goodbye. Okay, we are gonna fly back to Neverland really quick. And I'm gonna order what I don't have. This is gonna require it's gonna be one of those days of I'm gonna have to go tomorrow and it's gonna be multiple days of time travel, but because I'm so broke right now, I can't afford to skip any of the boring dailies, so this is gonna be one of the things where I'm gonna have to grind off stream and do the mega dailies where I'm grinding bells and I'm grinding miles and I'm doing all that stuff. I'm trying to pull out all of the new DIYs and everything. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. No. Okay. What are the new DIYs? What did we pick up? I'm gonna check those out before we. That's so pretty. I am good. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna go pull out some cash. We're gonna order a couple of things. And I don't know. I don't know. It's a conundrum because these kind of grinding sessions become kind of not a lot of fun to watch unless I don't know. Who knows? Okay. Okay. Okay, let's check this. I'm gonna try and pull out the super necessary stuff for her speakeasy. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I already have one of those, so let's order 2, I think. And shoot, I only have a couple of colors of that. We're gonna go with major housewares instead of oh, it's still gonna show the things like the trees. So, all right, well, beans. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna grab some. Okay, let's see. Let's get a table. Curry rice. Oh, no, I just want curry rice. I'm so hungry. I should not be, but I am. I just want curry rice now. Okay, I'm gonna make random noises because I'm excited. The new food item stuff is just, it makes me crazy. I just love it. Okay, hang on. The diner stuff, it's cute, but it's like not, it isn't quite it. It's not quite it. It's like, it almost. I am literally missing only the green one. Oh my god. Just need the green espresso maker and then I'll have all espresso makers. I'm good. I'm fine. This is the stuff I want to skip. I just want to have all this shit in my inventory already. So that we can just like do a speed build and then it can be like repurposed into content. Does that actually happen? Fuck no, it doesn't. Okay. Actually, that's not the one I wanted. That's the one I want. Not enough bells. Shit. That's why we're doing this right here. Hi. How much do we need? Okay. The bell grind is gonna be just the real. Oops. Gonna be just the realist. Just the realist. Oh, all right. I forgot about that / wasn't keeping track. So there it is. We're just gonna we're having troubles. We're having some troubles. Okay, so I obviously need to do some more like daily grind shit before this is even possible. So we'll maybe I'll do some filling in of that whole area tomorrow. That's what I'll do, along with some grinding while I get my kid ready for like, you know, school stuff. So that's probably what we'll do tomorrow. In the meantime, I don't know. I need to hit up a catalog island. So if you have a great idea for a catalog island, if you have a link, I would love to know that. Otherwise, I'm going to go to bed because I don't know what else to do tonight. This is not going to take like 4.5 hours. Like, that's where we're at right now in Animal Crossing. It's like, I need answers. Otherwise, it's going to take like 4.5 hours. So thank you so much for hanging out with me as long as you did. Oh God. I should raid somebody. The only problem is I am always chicken. So maybe we can see. Maybe we can see somebody who is ready. Lady is lucky. Oh God. With 27 viewers. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Let's raid. Let's raid them. Let's raid them. Oh God. Okay. Starting raid. So if you want to come in and raid Lady is Lucky, they are also playing some Animal Crossing. They're going to be doing it a little later than me. So hang tight. Here we go. In the meantime, I will see you tomorrow night. Same curse time, same curse place. Good night.
Now, Maiden, we are inviting in a new Keeper of the Light. Oh, Zoe, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Zoe, I hope you had a wonderful stream. What were you playing? Now, Maiden, your card is... Oh, the Holy Spirit. What a good card. Let me see if I can do a little shout out. Sometimes Streamlabs do be sleeping on the job. Did it work? Oh, it didn't work. Well, guys, if you could please go and check out Zoe's channel. We love to support the Star Fam. And Zoe, I hope whatever you were playing, you had a really good night. Thank you so much for the raid. You're playing Animal Crossing? Well, I hope you had fun. Are you doing the DLC? Are you just decorating your island? I myself am working on my theme, but I need to get on that DLC. Now, I'm just gonna read a super quick oracle card for Maiden. Just trying and failing to make Tia. Oh, her Speakeasy? Wait, that sounds cute as heck. That's like a little, what is it, like a singing bar, right? Where people go, well, maybe not singing. It's a speakeasy. You speak easily there. DLC and decorating, love to hear it. Well, I'm glad you had fun, Zoe. Thank you again for the raid. I really appreciate it. I punched angels into oblivion. Now I call myself Death for reasons, but that's a new one. Hyperstrike, I am so happy to offer you a badass new nickname. Welcome, Kid Kazma. Welcome and thank you for the raid hype. I appreciate it. Speakeasy. Oh, okay. The secret bar. We had a bar in town called the Speakeasy. I always just would think about people talking really comfortably there. Calchu, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Star Fam. I appreciate it. Now, Maiden, your card is the Holy Spirit. Expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. According to the spiritual text, A Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit meditates between illusion and truth. It's the essence that allows us to move beyond the illusion of fear or the illusions that our fear has created. It's the holiest light of truth and love that we can ever experience. An aspect of our truest self, the self that's never separate from God. When it appears in a reading, prepare for the miraculous. And this is the extended message just for you, Maiden. It is. Oh, it's a thing from the Prohibition. Ooh, I'm down for a little research, Zoe. Gotta sleep. Have a good one. You too, Zoe. Have a wonderful sleep. Thank you again so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Let me see if we could wake Streamlabs up for a good night shout out. Come on, Streamlabs. You can do this. You can do this. Oh my fucking god, it worked. Okay, so Streamlabs just needs a little encouragement. Okay, I can encourage. Yeah, that's fine. But good night, Zoe. Let's see. So the extended message, Maiden, is expect the unexpected, expect miracles.